somehow, with the return of Barnabas Collins and the Leviathan box, the threat of an all-encompassing evil looms larger over the great house at Carnwood on this dark and sinister night. There are those who remain untouched by it as yet. One of them is Dr. Julia Hoffman. Even she is destined to be affected by it, but only after she recovers from the shock that awaits her at an old mansion not far from Collinsport.
I must see Mr. Harrison Monroe. But I have an important message for him. Please tell him that I have a message from Charles Delaware Tate. Where are you?
You will see me soon enough.
Am I speaking to Mr. Harrison Monroe?
Keep walking straight ahead. Do not be afraid. You are now in the anteroom. Turn to your left. You shall see a door.
I don't see a door.
Open the door and enter. Close the door and walk to the center of the room, and you will find a chair. Sit in it and do not move from it. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand, but where are you? When will I see you?
Now, my dear lady. Now then, madam, just what is your message from Charles Delaware Tate? Come now, speak up, speak up! No one in the world could care more what Charles Delaware Tate has to say.
This is unbelievable.
Sit down. Don't come near me. Sit down in that chair.
You're not Harrison Monroe. You are Charles Delaware Tate. And you don't look a day older than you did in 1897.
How would you know you didn't even exist in 1897?
Yes, I did, because I found a way to transcend time. But you have found a way to suspend time.
What is your business here, madam?
I need your help.
You're wasting your time.
Please let me explain.
I am not interested in explanations. I care only about solitude and peace of mind.
At the turn of the century, you did a portrait of a man named Quentin Collins. You knew that he was suffering from a curse, that when the moon was full, he turned into an animal. That portrait brought an end to his curse, and you can't tell me that you don't remember that.
What you're referring to is nothing but legend. There's no truth in it.
It is completely true, and you know it. And I believe that the portrait has something to do with why Quentin Collins still looks young, because he is alive and living in Collinsport now.
You are wasting my time.
I will bring him here and prove it to you.
You will bring no one here, madam, and now you will remove yourself.
Mr. Tate, I beg...
Sit down. You will not come near me.
There must be more to your secret than meets the eye.
Yes, there is. I spent too much of my life being put upon and touched by others. let Charles Delaware Tate die. And now my burden is gone. That was over 10 years ago. And as Harrison Monroe, I have found solitude, and I treasure my solitude because no one will ever come close to me again. Good night.
Where is the portrait of Quentin Collins?
It was destroyed in a fire 10 years ago.
I happen to know that is not true.
Then you know more than I. Good night.
Mr. Tate, there is a man in Collinsport named Chris Jennings who is a descendant of Quentin Collins. He suffers from the same curse. You are the only person in the world who might be able to save him.
Are you suggesting that I paint his portrait?
Well, if it worked for Quentin, it could work for him.
I cannot paint anything. I am not capable of painting anything.
But I saw a painting that you did a year ago, and you've retained your youth.
My youth? Yes, my youth. I have retained my youth. I have survived the ravages of time, and I have become my own greatest work of art.
I don't understand.
No, you never will. You never will.
Mr. Tate! Mr. Tate!
I will guide you safely out. Go and never return.
What's troubling you, David? You've been standing at this window for over an hour, just staring into space. It worries me when you're this quiet.
I'm all right.
According to Maggie, you're not.
What do you mean?
Well, she says you've been very quiet lately, not nearly as active as usual.
I wonder what made her say that.
Well, I don't know, but I think we should find some way to rectify it. I thought maybe I would take you to Boston with me next week. Well, a few days in the city might do both of us some good. What do you say?
I'd like that. I'm tired. I'm going to go to sleep. I guess I'll do my homework. Good night.
Good night, son. Maggie's right, you know. This past week he hasn't been himself. Have you any idea what's troubling him?
I wouldn't worry about it, Roger. He's been through these moody phases before.
Yes, but this time he seems different.
And this shall be followed by a period of 10 days. And as darkness settles on the 10th day, there shall come forth another manifestation. And due homage shall be bestowed by all who believe.
What is it, David?
I've been reading the book again, Aunt Elizabeth.
What have you learned?
I've read another prophecy. We have to leave now. We have to go and pay homage to him.
Are you asleep yet, David?
Are you both surprised?
Well, we didn't know quite what to expect, Alexander.
I am not to be called Alexander anymore. You should know that.
Oh, what are Megan and Philip going to call you?
They picked a name I didn't like. From now on, you will call me Michael. That's my choice.
We came to welcome you, Michael.
We came as soon as I read the prophecy in the book.
That is as it should be.
We want you to feel free to come to Collinwood for whatever you may need. Well, it's getting late, David. I better take you home.
No. David is going to stay here tonight.
But do you think that's wise? We shouldn't do anything to arouse suspicion.
David wants to stay. Don't you, David?
Yes, I do, Aunt Elizabeth.
Very well. I'll go back to Colin.
Are you just coming in, Julia?
Yes?
You didn't see David anywhere, did you?
No, why?
About an hour ago, I went upstairs to tell him good night, and he wasn't in his room. I've searched the entire upstairs, and I can't find him anywhere.
Well, when did you last see him?
Just before he went upstairs to go to bed. I'd better go out and search the grounds.
Well, I'll go upstairs and look at the rest of the rooms.
I'll pick you up in the morning, David. Good night.
Good night, Aunt Elizabeth.
You went running to Barnabas the other day, didn't you? You told him I let Amy in the room.
I only did what I had to do, Michael.
You shouldn't have done it, David. It made me very angry.
Well, I'm sorry then.
Being sorry isn't enough.
What do you mean?
I'm going to have to teach you a lesson.
What kind of lesson?
Anyone who displeases me has to be punished.
How?
How would you like to spend the night? Right here, in the shop, all alone, where it's nice and dark.
I don't want to stay here alone.
It's just an antique shop. There's nothing here that can hurt you.
Where's Megan and Philip? I want to talk to them.
Megan and Philip are in their room, and that's where they're going to stay. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Good. Now there are some rules you'll have to obey. You must be very quiet. You must stay awake. And you may not call for help. No matter what happens. Good night, David. I hope you enjoy yourself.
He's nowhere upstairs.
There's no sign of him anywhere. I'm going to call the police. Would you give me Sheriff Patterson, please?
Why are you calling the sheriff?
Liz, David has disappeared.
Roger, don't be absurd. He's spending the night in town with a friend.
David is spending the night with a friend in Collinsport?
Yes.
May I ask how you know that?
I just dropped him there.
I see. Would you excuse us, please, Julia?
Oh, yes, yes, of course.
I want to speak with you in the drawing room. How could you dare do a thing like that without consulting me first?
See why you're getting so upset.
David is my son, not yours. Whether he spends the night in town with a friend of his is a decision for me to make, and not you.
Frankly, I thought you'd be pleased.
Pleased?
Yes, I knew how concerned you were about David earlier, and after you'd gone into the study, he came back downstairs and told me what was upsetting him. It seems his little friend Alex is leaving town tomorrow, and he's afraid he wouldn't see him again. So David asked me to take him to Alex. I saw no harm in it, and I certainly didn't think you would object.
Is Alex the one who visited here last week?
Yes.
An abominable boy. He and David aren't even the same age.
I'm sorry, Roger.
Well, I certainly wouldn't have allowed him to spend the night in a strange house.
Well, believe me, you have nothing to worry about. He couldn't be in safer hands.
are some rules you'll have to obey. You must be very quiet, you must stay awake, and you may not call for help, no matter what happens. How are you this morning, David?
Fine.
Have you learned your lesson now?
Yes.
Good. That means we should get along fine from now on. You'd better unlock the door, David. It's time to open the shop.
Oh, David, aren't you up bright and...
Did you come to buy something?
Well, Carolyn told me that there were some paintings here that I should see. Who are you?
Michael.
I'm Dr. Julia Hoffman. I thought you said you were spending the night with Alex.
Well, I was, but Megan took him home this morning.
Oh, I see. Are you another relative of Megan and Phillips?
Yes, I'm going to be staying with them a while.
Oh, isn't that nice?
What's the matter, Doctor?
Nothing. Nothing at all. What time do you expect Carolyn?
Well, she doesn't come in usually till in the afternoon.
All right, I'll come back then. Goodbye.
She noticed my birthmark. She didn't say anything, but I knew what she was thinking. She's beginning to suspect too much, David. We must find a way to deal with her. Immediately.